Yo, this is The Story Continues with your host, Austin Gambrell. This is episode 2. Hope you enjoy. Let's get it. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Story Continues. This is The Story Continuing. How's your week going? Hopefully it's going great. Hope you are blessed. So I'm going to start with this. Semicolon. This is the definition from Google. Do not come at me. Come at Google if it is incorrect. For those English majors out there. For real. A punctuation mark indicating a pause typically between two main clauses that is more pronounced than that indicated by a comma. That is the Google definition. Hopefully that is what it means. If it's not, somebody email the Google headquarters and tell them what is up. The other meaning, which is for the podcast meaning, suicide and mental health awareness. So this symbol, it has since 2013, this symbol has been a symbol for suicide and mental health awareness. It was Project Semicolon, initially started in 2013, and it reminds the person that their story is continuing, hence the name of the podcast, The Story Continues. So yeah, that is the reason why we're here. If you're a first-time listener, welcome. If you're a second-time listener, what's good? And I have another definition for you before we get into it, and it'll lead into what I'm about to talk about. Depression. That is what I deal with. Some people deal with a bipolar disorder. Some people deal with postpartum depression that also falls in mental illness. This is all from Google, y'all. Don't come at me. I will have actual mental health professionals come on the podcast, and they will talk briefly and, well, extensively about what it is, so you guys are educated on what it is. And like if you have family members or friends that go through this, you'll have an in-depth knowledge of what this is. But I'm going off of Google because my girl Google is all I got in front of me right now. Depression is an illness characterized by persistent, I almost said something else, the wrong word, amen. An illness characterized by persistent sadness and a loss of interest in activities that you normally enjoy, accompanied by an inability to carry out daily activities for at least 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks? That's funny to me. But yeah, some people deal with a long depression. Sometimes people deal with depression in like the two or 5 minutes that they sad. It just depends on the person. For me, it's been a long time. It's been a little too long, and I was ready to get out of it, and I'm somewhat out of it right now, but I'm kind of getting into the swing of things and figuring out what my purpose is and what I need to do as a person. So yeah, that's what depression is, the semicolon, all that good stuff. So now I'm gonna just jump right into it. Hope y'all like, subscribe, however y'all do it, follow, rate the podcast if you can. All right, so I'm gonna start with this. I feel like we all go through this, like people that have the mental illnesses, or if you don't have a mental illness and you feel like people don't listen to you, you probably feel like this. So all I have written down is people listen, but never hear you. Does that make sense? I feel like you get it. Let me read it again for the people in the back. Can I get an oh yeah from the people in the back? People listen, but never hear you. I told my mom that earlier today, actually. She was working, so she was busy because she works from home. And I just asked her, I think I was telling her about the podcast or like the interviews I have coming up. I do have interviews coming up, by the way. Crazy. A lot of people called and they want to be on the podcast, and I'm super excited about that. Hopefully, like everyone, I cannot express how much I love y'all, and I love her. All right, Austin, slow down. I love that y'all love the podcast. It's super cool. Back to what I was saying. People listen but never hear you. So my mom was working, right? Crazy story. Well, it's not really crazy. It's just what I went through earlier today. But she had it was something project she had to do or something like that. And I was just telling her about the podcast and stuff. She was excited about it. And then one thing my mom, she can tell you this herself. One thing she does, she will listen, but she won't hear you. And then we'll be like, hey, Mom, what did I just tell you? And she'll tell you something entirely different from what you told her. And that comes back to what I told her today. People listen, but never hear you. One thing I can say from experience, when people can't hear you, you know that song, Make Them Hear You. I forgot how it goes. I'm not gonna lie. Everybody that's in classical music, don't come at me. I think it's a theater song. I saw one of the Three Mo Tenors do it. If you've never seen Three Mo Tenors, look up THREEMO with an apostrophe tenors. It's three black dudes, cool dudes. I love them. I can't think of their names right now, but I love all of them. They can sing you under the table. All right. If you feel like people aren't listening to you, don't think that that's the end all be all. I think you should actively try to encourage your friends or family members that don't listen. Try to tell them what is up, or if you have a therapist, that's because that's what I use my therapist for, because I never get listened to by my peers and I'm always like kind of in the back, but that's another story we'll get into later on down the line. And another thing I have written down is not supporting. And I feel like that triggers a lot of stuff for people. Like when they do really hard work and then they don't support what you do. All I can say is keep going, because I'm a living testimony that if you keep going, people will just catch on. Because I do so much, like YouTube videos, music, this podcast. I had another podcast with my brother. That was a fun time. We're actually starting to get back into that, which is crazy. And I'm excited about that too. But yeah, people don't support. I swear it sucks. It does suck. I'm not going to invalidate your feelings. It does suck. But on the plus side, you have to realize that you have to be your own supporter no matter what. You have to keep pushing through no matter what, and making sure your story continues no matter what, because no matter what anyone can tell you, it is your story and you can literally do what you want. Don't do what other people want you to do. And that's the annoying part of life. Some people overthink, and let me go to that. Overthinking is it's a not talked about topic, because I feel like a lot of people do it, but they don't express that. So my thing with I swear when I tell y'all, I overthink literally the world around me. Like if this mic blew up right now, where would I go? I swear I have all that in my brain. I got it from my dad, because he overthinks, and it's wild to me. Like that's the main thing, overthinking. Mastering the art of ignoring is what I have written down on my notes. I think that people need to master the art of ignoring, because I feel like that would benefit you mentally, because everyone wants to do. And then people are taking, and then you have nothing else to give. And that's where the depression sits in. It sits in where you feel like you have that empty space. That's where the depression sits. At least for me. Some people, it has to deal with trauma. Well, I will say I have a plethora of reasons why my depression is the way it is. But again, we'll get there down the line. I'm telling you, if you can master the art of ignoring, I swear it'll save your life. I'm telling you. And black parents, listen, if you are listening right now, this podcast is honestly for you. Because I feel like not even black parents, I feel like the minority group, or the minority margin group, the minority community. There we go. That made more sense. The minority community, I feel like they don't take therapy as serious as it is, or they think it's a joke. And I'm here to tell you, it is definitely not a joke. And I will have health professionals on this podcast to tell you that it is a lot more serious than what you think. Back in the day, I told my dad this the other day. Back in the day, they didn't have the technology to see everyone's lives in front of them, or to see what you can or cannot do, or have everyone's skills in front of you. But I think that the older generation doesn't realize that we have all of that, and all they had was just a telephone or mail or that TV with the dials on it. And that's the only technology they had, and they couldn't see everything at their fingertips. And that's where the depression comes from. It's been around for a long time, but depression honestly comes from having the technology in front of us, and we can see everything in front of us. Like, meaning like war, famine, all that stuff is just at our fingertips, and it's just so much for one person to look at. And I think that people need to realize, minority community, they need to realize that your kids are going through a lot more than what you think. Even though it feels like, oh my God, you're just going to school, all you have is homework, you have no time to be depressed. You'd be surprised what they're actually depressed about, but they don't want to talk to you because the way you make it seem like, oh, you're just sad or you're just crazy. They're not just crazy. They are going through. They need someone to talk to. I was talking to my cousin Yvonne. I love you. Shout out to her. She told me on the phone, she was proud of me about the podcast, and I love her so much. And she told me that, hey, all these kids need is someone to talk to, and people don't realize that, and they take that for granted. And they think that, oh my God, it's my kid. They'll come talk to me when they're ready. Sometimes they just need you just to sit there and just to listen to them vent. And I feel like that would eliminate a lot of the depression that goes around, or any of them, stress, anxiety, all that. I think that would kill a lot of it. So another purpose, so I have multiple purposes for this podcast because I feel like this is what people need. So I have my friend Nikki. She comes from her own background, but when I tell you that girl has a story on her, and she has so much light inside of her, and you'd be so surprised about what people actually go through. Or my friend Brooklyn this week, a part of the LGBTQIA plus community, and he's a black man. So I'm going to have him on here talking about his struggles and what he goes through. And I just want like a genuine like mix of people so that you know that you are not the only person going through what you are going through. And we are all here as a community to just be here for you. And that's why I'm having everyone come on and talk about their own struggles so that they can hear, that other people can hear their stories through their stories. Does that make sense? So you listening right now can hear your story, even though you don't want to talk about it out loud. You can hear your story through someone else. That's what this is for. So thank you so much for listening. I'll see y'all in the next episode. I'm out of breath because I kind of just threw everything at y'all. I wanted to get one more informational part of the podcast to y'all, so that way you can be like, okay, this is what it's about. All right, cool. Bring on the fire. Because when I tell you it's going to be some heat, like rapid heat for the next couple weeks, I'm about to give you all this good stuff, all this good juice, good juju. Love y'all so much. And to anyone listening that is dealing with and mental illness, praise God, a mental illness and mental illness and mental illness. And now I'm changing my words. Now my brain's starting to shut down. Anyone struggling with a mental illness, I want you to know that I am here for you. If you have me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, Austin Gamby, AUSTINGAM, as in Mary, BIE. You can find me on there. If you DM me, we can talk. If you need anyone to talk to, I'm here. Anyone that comes on the podcast, I'm sure if you need anything from them, like the mental health professionals, wow, that was a tongue twister. If you need any help from any mental health professionals that'll be on the podcast, you can absolutely reach out to them. I'm sure they would not mind at all talking about what you're going through or helping you through it. If you need to talk to me, I can help you get through what you're going through, because I've been there and I'm still going through it. Child, I'm still going through it. I have a lot of problems that you'll learn, and you'll be like, wow, I did not know that. Do what you want to do. Think about it before you do it, or if you pray about it before you're going to do it, and just make sure you plan your steps ahead so that way you're not left behind, and that way you have something to look forward to. You know what? That's one thing I did do. I'll say this and then I'm going to go. So that's one thing I did. I started planning before I did stuff, and then now it's kind of like a routine. And then my brain's like, okay, got you. So now we're kind of getting out of this depression mode and kind of like, hey, we have a life to live and we have so much to give to the world. So that's what I want you to think about before the next one comes out. Next episode comes out. Be great. I love y'all. Yeah, I'm going to see y'all in the next one. Nikki's in the next episode, so I cannot wait for y'all. She is a funny character. Let me tell you, coming up, Nikki is a beast. When I tell you this girl is a hard worker, but she is a comedian, like a natural born comedian. And I'm sorry in advance if she slips up and cusses, or any of the guests that come up cusses. So love y'all. Be great. I will see you in the next episode. I was about to pray us out, bro. I just came from a church meeting. I am so sorry. Peace out. Be great. I already said love y'all. I can't love y'all enough. How about that? I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm glad you're here. So be great. I love you. I love you. Period. Yeah.